All right, gentlemen and ladies, we are back for episode 6 of Fandom of Fandoms.
This is going to be a great episode. I can already tell.
I've been very excited for this episode.
I like the energy in the room right now. Honestly,
Yeah,
it does feel nice. Well, I like starting off the same way every time. What's everybody been up to since the last time we were together? Which wasn't that long ago, actually. So,
I saw Ben 6 days last week. Monday through Saturday.
Record, yeah.
You might as well just move in at this point, Ben.
They have another person coming to live with them soon, so they don't need me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I can start. I mean, I had my diaper party over the weekend, which you both were at.
Yep.
Yes.
And very enjoyable time. Just so grateful for everyone that came and brought diapers and other gifts. And there were some people there that I hadn't seen in a while, so it was a lot of fun to kind of catch up. And
we got to meet your brother for the first time. That was pretty cool. Yeah,
yes,
I know.
Yeah.
As elusive as your family is, it was nice that I finally got to sit and have a conversation with your brother.
Yeah, you guys did talk for a while.
It was fun.
Yeah.
No,
what about you, Nick? What have you been up to?
So today was my first day at work. So
Nice.
First day back on the job.
Sorry about that.
I mean, it was good. I'm starting at a brand new district, so that's it's exciting. There's just when you show up for the new job, you got the training stuff right from the beginning, and it's a little boring. I was up a little bit too late the night before, and I'm already okay. I was a little tired. I was ready to fall asleep during some of those meetings, but that's the way it goes. It's the nature of the beast when you start something new. Ben, what have you been into, man?
Biggest thing lately is I went to the Dublin Irish Festival this weekend. That was
Nice.
a good time. Lots of good food, good music, good just walking around, seeing all sorts of different things. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I watched a bunch of guys pick up some 250, 300-pound stones. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
cool.
yeah, that's about the biggest thing that I've been up to.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, let's cue up the intro music and actually intro the episode a little bit. Hello and welcome to the Fandom of Fandoms podcast, where every single episode we are diving into the worlds that fans love the most. And we are very, very excited today to have Dayna Grenier joining us to talk about Harry Potter, right?
Yep.
It's going to be great. I paused. That was a very dramatic pause.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Well done, Nick.
hey.
Very well done.
Was that part of what you practiced?
Yeah, well, maybe. It never goes exactly the same way,
Okay.
right? But
yep, this is true.
no, it's good. It's good. But we are definitely so glad to have you here joining us, Dayna.
Yeah.
And we're so glad that we get to really tackle something that, again, we're kind of we've got an interest in and passion in. So that's kind of fun to have, because in the last few episodes, I feel like it's always been all right, there's a couple of us that are passionate, or one of us or whatever. And it's kind of, so we're kind of all in it together again. So that's going to be awesome.
And Dayna, you get the honor of being our first guest. So
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, how does that feel?
Huge honor. Huge honor. I'm so grateful. Yeah. Yeah, I will say I wasn't chosen on merit alone, unfortunately.
May have been
one
a little
of you guys has
nepotism
a
involved.
pretty vested interest in my life. So
Yep.
appreciate that. I played my cards right.
So why don't you start off telling us how long you and Michael have known each other? How long have you guys been married?
Oh man. Gotta remember. We met, 4 years ago. And we'll be married for 3 years in September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we met on a blind date.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys were set up by mutual friends, right?
We were.
Yeah.
Yep.
We were, yeah. And we're actually the third couple that this friend has set up who's gotten married. So, yeah. Incredible track record.
Yeah.
It
She
is.
should change careers at this point.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that still a thing? Professional matchmakers?
Good
I've
question.
never met one,
Okay.
but I believe they're out there.
It's
Yeah.
got to be in some cultures. I don't
No,
know.
it's some cultures for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Well, I guess so. Dayna, you've kind of introduced yourself a little bit. We know what we're talking about. So, Michael, do you want to bring us into and just give us a little bit of an overview? What's going on? What are we?
Yeah, definitely. So, overview here. So, Harry Potter, I mean, I think most of our listeners probably know, but it's a series of 7 fantasy novels written by British author J.K. Rowling. Now, I always said J.K. Rowling, and
did
then
too.
I don't even know when. It was a year ago. I heard someone say Rowling. So now I say J.K. Rowling.
But do you know that they were correct? Do we know what's correct?
We don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably depends. Rowling's probably the British pronunciation, right?
Rowling, yep.
I don't know.
So the novels chronicle the lives of a young wizard, Harry Potter, and his friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, all of whom are students at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. So it has been adapted into 8 movies. There's been other spin-offs such as Fantastic Beasts. There was the Broadway play, The Cursed Child.
Yeah.
And then it even has its own theme park now. So that's kind of an overview of what we're talking about today.
This is a large fandom when you think about it. I was thinking like we probably could have done a similar break on this that we did to Star Wars.
We could have done books versus movies, or like there's any way we could have split it. But
there's a lot, so we're just gonna try and get a little bit of everything in this episode for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ben, do you want to introduce the next segment?
Sure. So Dayna, why don't you start us off telling us a little bit about when you first got into Harry Potter and some of your earliest memories or what kept you involved in the fandom.
Yeah, I'd love to. I was pretty late to the game with Harry Potter, unfortunately. I wish I could say that I grew up really loving it, but I think I kind of just missed it. I was a little bit young to grow up enjoying Harry Potter and reading it. I have some friends who did, but they were pretty young reading the books. So yeah, I didn't really get into reading the books or watching through all of the movies until I was in college. I had a friend who was in my small group who would read the books all the way through every single summer. And I was like, wow, those have to be pretty great to want to read through them that many times. And so, yeah, that was the first time I started reading. But when I was young, I think I had seen the first movie or two. But it wasn't until probably 18 to 20 that I became really interested in the fandom.
Okay, so Dayna, thanks for sharing about that. So you started off reading the books, and you said maybe watch a movie or two. But do you feel like you are more drawn to the books then in general?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get great enjoyment out of both. So I definitely would say, everybody says the book's greater than the movie, and I think that's true. There's just so much more in the books, and you get so much more out of the story than in the movies, because obviously they have to cut out so much when they make a movie. But sure. I think the movies are incredible, and for me, it's all a part of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I just finished reading the second book. I have never read through the books before. I've only watched the movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So this is my first time reading through the books. And yeah, I didn't realize the extent, how much was in the books.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, like you said,
exciting.
Dayna,
I did not know. You're on the third book right now.
We're at the third book. And it's,
wow.
So I've acknowledged to a lot of people that a lot of people have told me they would love to go back and reread them for the first time, and so for me, I'm like, wow, I actually get to as an adult, know what I'm reading for the first time, so it's pretty exciting. Yeah. But yeah, there's so much more in the books that I would just a whole lot of plot threads really that you didn't even get in the movies, and so it's pretty cool.
Well, that actually we could circle back here for a second, because we didn't actually share out what any of our background was in the in the movies and the books and everything. So sounds like I know you've definitely seen all the movies, and so now you're circling back and kind of hitting the books for the first time, which is wild.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know I kind of talked about this in our little bonus segment in Lego, but for me, I read all of the books as they came out after Goblet of Fire, I think. So that was when by the time I started reading, they were already on Goblet of Fire. And then from then on, I can remember going to the midnight releases for the books, or my dad would go to the midnight releases and bring me the book back the next day or whatever. And then, I'd read it in 2-3 days, whatever. And that was definitely for me, and this is kind of embarrassing to admit a little bit as an English teacher, but I was not all that into reading when I was in middle school around this time. I only wanted to read Harry Potter. I wasn't really into the other stuff. And so, that was just, and I feel like that was such a generation of kids. I knew other people that were kind of in the same boat as me that well, they don't read, but they've read Harry Potter and they're into that world quite a bit. So, I can remember being really young, and my dad, the first couple of books, my dad read with me. So we'd read them at night, and he'd read me a chapter and whatever, you know what I mean? Before going to bed. That was definitely something that happened. And so that, I think there was a bonding aspect of that, and really got me into it as well. But Ben, what about you? I know that I haven't really heard a lot about your background into Harry Potter.
I grew up with them. I remember my aunt gave me the first book when I was, a young teenager, and I was always around the same age as Harry, like when
That's pretty
when they
cool.
came out. So yeah, like for me, it was like definitely like I grew up like literally with it. Like, the last book came out right when I can't remember if I was a junior or senior, but like right around then, and I was like, like getting ready to move out onto quote unquote adulthood or whatever's next. And so like, yeah, wrapping up his journey at the same time I was kind of wrapping up high school and stuff like that was like super impactful to me, and just a pivotal part of my life, I think, especially just jumping into that fandom in general. Probably the one I was most a fan of when I was a kid. So yeah. Well, Dayna, what do you feel like about the story or the characters or the world even like draws you into this fandom the most?
Yeah, so much. You guys have talked about this a little bit in your previous episodes, but it's fun to immerse yourself in a world that's very like fantastical and doesn't relate to your everyday life, right? I think there's something just really special about stepping outside of your day-to-day life and stepping into a world that's so different from the one that you experience. And obviously there's things about Harry Potter that are relatable, like the different relationship dynamics and the battle of good versus evil. And
We all
all
face
of these
that every day.
things. Right.
Mostly at work.
Absolutely. But I think that, being able to have that like level of healthy escapism, is really neat. And I was actually talking to Michael about this, but one thing that I love so much about Harry Potter and the characters is that they all grow and change so much, and we get to kind of see them grow up and become better people, and they're still really flawed people, and they all really need each other. But we just get to see them kind of be interdependent. Like there's not, this one hero that has it all together. And I think that's really neat about Harry Potter.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of character, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say this is where I get to nerd out a little bit on the the book nerd a little bit, but like the coming of age novels are like I love those stories almost more than anything for those reasons, right? Like you're watching these characters develop and kind of coming to understand that. So some of my favorite novels ever, really, I love To Kill a Mockingbird. That's coming of age story. I don't know if either of you guys have read or any of you guys have read Kite Runner before. That's another one of my favorites. But again, it's those stories for whatever reason just really they resonate with me a lot. Anyways, I don't know how they are with you guys, but I love those coming of age stories too. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, speaking of character development, is there a character that you kind of most see yourself as in the Harry Potter series?
Yeah, I love Hermione. And maybe that's just because I'm a girl. But I think she's so great. And I don't know that this is me necessarily, but I just see her as a character that's so brave, so consistent, so loyal, willing to do anything to be there for the people that she loves. And I would love to be like that. And she's beautiful. She's so cute. When I wake up in the morning and my hair is like poofy, I say I look like 12-year-old Hermione.
Yeah.
Every time. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Do you have a favorite of the books? I feel like this is
Easy question,
Yeah,
or not
this
easy
is
question, but like a classic
Yeah.
question.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
quintessential.
Yes.
I
Quintessential
know
question.
there's so many to choose from. I would love to hear this for you guys as well. I think I naturally just say the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
And I think that's because all of the storylines from the previous books kind of come together, and we get this really clear picture of like where we've been headed this whole time and sort of what the end game is for Harry Potter. And it's just so satisfying. It's so good. I love Professor Slughorn. I love Luna. Is that Luna's in the 5th book, I guess, for the first time, right? But we get to see her character a little bit more in the 6th. So
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, Michael,
Yeah.
so since you haven't read all the books, then so
Yeah.
what's your favorite movie then?
Yeah, great question. So I hate to, this is going to sound like a cop-out answer, but I actually think the Half-Blood Prince 2 is also my favorite. And I don't know, I think because Snape is kind of like, I don't know, like a almost like comically evil guy, at least in the movie version of him. But then at the end of Half-Blood Prince, kind of like seeing him as like, whoa, he's like really evil, like that was pretty interesting to me. Yeah, so I think kind of Dana, what you were saying, like you actually start to see like the bigger picture of what's happening, like where this is all headed. So I love Half-Blood Prince, and that's been my favorite. If I can give a close second though, Chamber of Secrets, almost purely for the ending. The ending of Chamber of Secrets makes me cry every time, and so I just look forward to that, like great, emotional climax there.
And now you got me. I haven't watched it recently. I'm gonna have to go back and watch Chamber of Secrets
Yeah,
and see
you
if
should.
the emotions get me a little bit. But I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Definitely Half-Blood Prince. I was watching it in preparation for tonight because I actually told Ben before the episode, I was like, no, six for sure is my favorite of
Really?
the
Okay.
movies
Yeah,
for
nice.
sure.
Heck yeah.
And it's because it even cemented it more when I watched it again because I just remembered all of the things I liked about before and some of the just the subtleties of it, I guess, where they don't necessarily. I mean, there are certain scenes in there that they kind of take an artful look at it, like. So one that kind of sticks in my mind is like the whole all of the different parts of the year where Draco is trying to plan to kill Dumbledore, and then it just shows him. There's no speaking in it or anything like that, so it's almost like. I mean, it talks about it at some point. You're aware of what's going on, but it doesn't like have to smack you in the face with it. You just kind of see, oh, he's working out this problem. And it's, to me, it feels very like there's an artistic part of that a little bit. Like,
definitely.
Same with you, Slughorn. The scene from the beginning when Dumbledore takes Harry to go and get Slughorn. I love that's my favorite scene in all of the movies. I think. But yeah, no, it's so good, and it's I definitely would say it's my top of the movies. Book wise though. Prisoner of Azkaban. That's where mine is for sure.
We were watching Prisoner of Azkaban in preparation for tonight. Yeah. But anyway, continue.
No, funny enough, like I don't love the movie. Like it's good, but like it's not my favorite of the ones either. It is a good one, but the book wise, I don't know what it was. I think it might have been just the fact that I don't know. I feel like it was probably one of the first ones that I might have read that one alone, like by myself. I can remember, the scene on the night bus and everything. Like, I mean, I don't know, it's just impactful. And then the fact that, obviously Sirius shows up in that one, and that's, a major emotional attachment of Harry's in that one. The first one that he really has outside of Ron and Hermione.
Yeah,
like, he's not
absolutely.
close to Dumbledore at that point. So that's, I don't know. I think that I really latched on to his character. And obviously when everything goes down the fifth book like that it just hits you so much harder because of Prisoner of Azkaban for sure, and how much they kind of get to interact a little bit, and you get to think, oh well, there's this possibility of like this happy ending, but it didn't quite end that way.
I know.
I will say, I think with the movies, that was one of the first ones with a different director, and he definitely did some interstitial things that felt unnecessary and kind of took me out of the world more than helped keep me in it, and so it felt that one to me, felt like it wasn't.
Well, that was the first plainclothes ones. Like the first two movies, they were always in their robes.
Always robes.
really
Yeah.
okay.
And that time he was like, yeah, we're gonna go with just regular clothes, and that was a directorial choice. I don't know. And then I think they stuck with it really because really in most of the other movies there weren't a ton of robes.
Yeah,
funny enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my favorite book was Goblet of Fire.
Nice.
Is Goblet of Fire. For me, that one, first of all, like expanding the world into seeing that, there are other wizarding schools. The whole Triwizard Tournament in general is just like such an interesting concept and event to kind of witness. And then it did like, at the end, it kind of like pivoted to be like a more dark tone.
Yeah.
For the rest of the books, then after that, I think like instead of just pure fantasy, it kind of pivoted into something like, oh, we're gonna get a little serious with it. And again, it was, right around that age of like coming of age Harry, where he's changing from this innocent kind of boy who's just kind of like these things are happening to like, oh, he's like in it now for sure. So yeah, that one was it for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's great. Well, why don't we transition a little bit to we always have a starter pack segment here. So, Dana, obviously you didn't get into Harry Potter until you were an adult. Same with me. We didn't really grow up with it as kids, but if someone wanted to start, in the fandom or getting into it, what would you recommend for them?
Yeah, this is probably the classic recommendation, but I would say read through the books. Either read all the way through them and then enjoy the movies, or read them one at a time, watch the movie after. I think that could be really fun too.
So you'd go book first, then movie, like that'd be your.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that with any book, it's special to like kind of create the world in your mind first, you know?
Sure.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I will say, reading them after watching the movies, I do read the characters as the movie versions. So like I'm picturing the movie versions, like the actors, you know, their voices. And so I do wonder what it would be like had I read the books first, kind of who, like what types of, you know, who I'd have in my mind for these characters. But it's really just the actors that I'm picturing when I'm reading it and, you know, and whatnot.
This brings up a really interesting question that just came to mind. So, Nick, you're the only one I think I can ask this to because you didn't see any of the movies before you read the books. How did you pronounce Hermione's name when you read it?
It's funny you bring that up because I was literally going to say the same thing. Because I can remember, you know, there's a lot of weird words in Harry Potter, and like when you read the books before you've actually seen the movie, you don't have to, you don't know how to pronounce those things for sure. So I want to say it was Hermione.
Yep, that's how I
Hermione.
pronounced it too.
That's so
Hermione.
funny.
Well, because when you read it again, like it's a very British name.
Yeah.
And growing up here, you're like, what is this name? Like, so Hermione. Same.
I'm trying to remember if there was anything. That one stands out to me though. Like that one, I definitely can remember mispronouncing for sure. And that would have been from like my dad reading the books to me too, like him trying to get it right as well. And then I don't remember if it was Hagrid or Hagrid when we were reading it, and some of the other, like there were so many of them, and I'm blanking on like other ones that like really stand out to me.
But that one I know it was like again like a name that I'm like I've never seen this combination of letters before, and I'm gonna make it up.
No, I don't know. I think I'd be on the opposite side only because I've thought about this on other, not necessarily Harry Potter, but I've thought about it on other movies where I have watched a movie after having read the book, and then I feel like a disappointment. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel the same way about like the Harry Potter books, because you definitely, I mean, people, when they had read the books, like there was disappointment when the movies came out and stuff like that. And so I almost would rather, like, if I could go back and imagine myself doing it all over again, and like that was my first time going through it, I almost think I'd do the movies first, personally. I don't know.
It's funny you say that because like I was saying in the beginning of the episode, like there's been so much more content in the books that I've really enjoyed and found interesting that kind of almost expands the movies a little bit. And so I think I'm actually experiencing what you just described, where like I love the movies, they're amazing, but then the books are even better. I'm not getting disappointed, you know, by this movie, it's not what I expected or what I thought it would be, you know, like the characters aren't how I imagine them in my mind. So there is kind of like, I don't know.
It is. It's
you just gotta kind of pick your poison,
Yeah, because I definitely know. I mean, whenever I read a book, like you've got something in your head, and then you know it's that. What is the disappointment come from? What's because you've got this expectation that it's going to be this certain way, and then it's not, and it's so I don't know. I think I'd be the opposite. That's just me personally, though.
Well, you guys will have to continue battling it out in the coming years. Yeah.
Well, Dayna, we're going to turn back to you for a minute. And one of the things that we like to do is if you were talking to someone who somehow didn't know what Harry Potter was, but might be interested, what would be your elevator pitch, 30 seconds a minute, to get them interested in it?
Oh, okay. Do you want to immerse yourself in a fantastical world with adorable children who grow up into lovely people and battle good and evil? Then Harry Potter is for you. Yeah, I think I would say that there's just so much to enjoy. The books, the movies, the expanded universe, and the illustrated books are something that I love so much too. And also just the community surrounding Harry Potter. I think that it's very widely loved. And so I think that it's common ground when you're making new friends, meeting new people, and something that a lot of people enjoy. So 10 out of 10 recommend.
That's a good elevator pitch.
That was great. Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
speaking of the illustrated books, what have you brought for us today? So this is for our YouTube watchers.
The show and tell part.
This is the show and tell portion of the show.
Yes, I can't say that the Lego is mine, but Malfoy Manor was a Christmas gift for Michael this last year, and it's pretty fantastic.
It is. I'll give you on that one.
Yeah.
Let it keep going.
Yeah, it deserves that kind of applause.
Oh,
it was
man.
expensive.
Right.
And I brought along one of the illustrated books here because I love them so much. I read the books, watched the movies, and then I think it was maybe the third time that I read through the books, I read the illustrated copies. Only the first 5, I think, have been illustrated, but that was so fun because you get the experience of watching the movies, and then you read the books and kind of create the world in your mind. And then you have this whole other way to like visually experience the world.
Yeah,
and you get
right.
to see someone else's creativity in it too. And that was really fun because like the characters, that are illustrated in the book, they look different than the characters in the movies. I mean, there are similarities, but
So I was going to ask, does anyone know, I guess as a producer, I should be looking this up myself, but does anyone know, so the illustrated book is not based on the movies. It's its own
I believe so.
separate visual thing. So the characters in there don't necessarily match the movies.
I believe so.
Okay,
Actually,
gotcha.
it'd be interesting to know if the guy that illustrated them knew anything. Like, I mean, I'm sure he had to have seen the.
I was gonna say it's hard to avoid having
Yeah.
ever seen any of the representation of Harry Potter beforehand, but my guess is that they gave them freedom to, just like come up with your own vision of it. Like, yeah, because I mean, some of it will be by default by the descriptions in the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Will be those characters, but at the same time, like, yeah, there can be differences.
Speaking of, did you guys hear that the illustrator for the last 2 is not going to be the same? Whatever, who is it?
Really?
Peter K.
Yeah,
Is that
Jim
his name?
K.
Or Jim
Jim
K.
K.
Jim K.
Yeah.
Yeah. He.
Wow, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. It was. Well, I can only imagine the amount of illustrations that he has done over the past
So this has been like a decade in the making at
Oh, I'm
least.
sure, yeah.
So
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. I just saw that story just the other day, actually.
Yeah.
I had not heard that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Jim K, why don't we, that's a good transition into the kind of the fandom culture. So, one question we had here as far as just the fandom overall, Dayna, what are your feelings on the upcoming HBO series? Are you excited, annoyed? Have you thought about any thoughts on the casting so far? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's hard not to get your hopes up, right? We've seen a lot of crashes and burns recently with just new iterations of famous IPs, and that's been devastating. But
You talking about the
this
Acolyte?
time,
I was gonna say,
right?
name them.
That's not going to happen this time. Harry Potter's going to be great. So, yeah, I think my hopes are high. I don't know. It's so hard because you look at a series like this and you're like, oh, it's so beloved. Like they can't mess it up. They won't mess it up, but they've done it before and they might do it again. So
Yeah.
I think that I want to retain my enjoyment of of Harry Potter. I don't want to if I don't love this new series, I don't want to let it taint my enjoyment
Yeah.
of the fandom. But at the same time, I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think something that I found interesting was the new casting, because I've seen articles, floating around out there, YouTube videos and whatnot. And it's funny how the three main characters are still being compared to the original movie actors.
100%.
And it's not like these, the media is looking at the 3 new characters and comparing them to descriptions in the books and saying, okay, does this kind of match up? They're being compared to the original actors, and I think it's just going to be that way. People aren't going to be able to get the original 3 actors out of their minds, even though they're not basing the characters in movies on those actors. They're basing them on the books. You know what I mean?
This comes back to an idea that we've definitely talked about on this podcast before. There's some toxic nature to some of that comparison. I don't know, man. It really does. It's unfortunate that those kids have the weight of that.
Yes,
on
they
them.
do, exactly.
And
It is a weight on them.
I don't want that for them. And in my mind, I mean, as we've talked about in multiple of our conversations, I am always excited when something that I love gets more, there's more of it to enjoy. And I try not to sit there and I'm gonna crap all over this, or whatever. Like just say it's gonna be terrible, or even once I've seen it, like I'm still gonna find things about it that I'm going to appreciate on some level. I don't know. Maybe I sound like such an optimist,
No,
but that's just I want to enjoy things.
Yeah.
I think that's how it should be. And again, like, well, going into something like this with different iterations of it, like we all have our own interpretations, we all have our own visions and creative differences. And so like I think so many people just get caught up in like the way that they see things, the way they originally experienced things is the right way. And so
Right.
it's just so hard for anyone to see outside of that. And so like that's again, like we were saying, it's true in so many fandoms. But I think especially Harry Potter, because it was so crucial to all of us, like in very formative years, maybe like you guys a little later, but like a large majority of the people who are fans of Harry Potter experienced it growing up and like, yeah, in those formative years of discovering themselves and everything like that. So that like those images, the takes, everything like that are ingrained in us. So it makes it a little bit harder to separate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people people are like really passionate about that. They have strong opinions.
Well, the nostalgia factor is always going to be a powerful thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I've just got this so much there, and I can't get it out. Like I can't escape what my initial impressions were for sure. So nostalgia is such a powerful, like positive thing. But it's a dual-edged sword that it's got a negative aspect to it as well, and I think that's kind of where some of the negativity can come from.
Yeah, definitely.
So hot takes, Dayna. You have any hot takes in the fandom?
Oh, goodness.
Since we're talking, our own hot takes just on nostalgia in general.
I know it's hard just to like come up with it right up the head.
Immediately.
Okay, what about any hot takes that you have, even if you don't have a particular side that you are on?
Yeah.
Anything within the fandom that you're like, lots of people like to argue about this?
Yes, I have heard people question the character of Dumbledore a time or two.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, especially with the way that, that everything ends. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the intention of Dumbledore that Harry would die. That Voldemort was unable to kill Harry Potter because of, this interaction of the curse with his mother's love. I didn't think that was anticipated by Dumbledore. Maybe it was.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe, yeah.
Exactly.
You know what?
It's
if you're
fine.
watching
No,
this, I don't feel bad.
Yeah, 20 years. You got 20 years to figure it out.
You've had time. Yeah, and maybe some of that is up to interpretation and it's intentionally mysterious. But I think I've seen some people question, like, wow, he really threw Harry under the bus, or he really, just cultivated this life for Harry that he maybe would not have chosen and didn't know how it was going to end.
Very
and
true.
So,
I mean, even as a 13-year-old boy, he was throwing him in dungeons and like, go fight this 3-headed dog. Like that's 20 feet tall. Yeah,
well, that's
no problem.
practically the entire like plot of the seventh novel, really, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole entire thing. Like, what do we really know about Dumbledore?
Yeah. I will say though, so maybe a counter argument to that though is Dumbledore was willing to sacrifice himself in order to like continue this, thing for the greater good going. And more so than that, he was willing to have one of his best friends, kill him, for the cause. So even if you're questioning, his character, his intentions, I mean, he paid the ultimate price for this, so it's not like he was asking Harry to do something that he himself not only was willing to do, but actually did. So
Dumbledore was 300 plus years old, though, as opposed to Harry, who was a teenager, literal teenager.
That's true. But Jude Law doesn't look that old.
Well, that brings me into, again, like kind of another hot take. Like, how do you feel, Dayna, about the Fantastic Beasts movies?
Yeah, I don't have strong feelings, and maybe that is how I feel about them.
That's fair.
I don't know
Valid,
if many people would share that sentiment. I have seen, I think, the first two one time, and I enjoyed them, but I didn't have a desire to watch them more than that. And the Harry Potter movies I've watched a million times over, and I will watch a million more. So yeah, I think that kind of sums up how I feel about the Fantastic Beasts movies. I think they were good. I wish they were great. But I would love
Yeah.
to hear what you guys are. Any of you? Big fans?
I'd be curious. So I've got some opinions myself, but I'd be.
Let's hear 'em,
We've
Michael.
never talked about
you want-
Fantastic
okay.
Beasts. I'd like to hear from you guys what your thoughts are.
When the first movie came out, so this is kind of when we've talked a lot about expectation. I feel like there were little, like the expectations were kind of low. Like nobody really knew what to expect with it. And I always find that when you've got that kind of situation, that when it eventually does come out, if it is a good movie, and I thought it was a good movie, that it almost makes it even seem even better than it was, because like, oh well, the expectations weren't really there for it to be something like incredible, and so it was really good. So I loved the first one a lot, actually. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember really liking it. I remember really caring about. I mean, it got me invested in these characters that, in other words, like I wouldn't have cared about the Newt and the Muggle guy that I can't remember his name.
Nice.
But no, you got invested in the characters a little bit, and you did kind of care about them, and that's what I love from a good story for sure. But then I think as often is the case with movies as they go into the next iteration and all that, I think that it did go steadily downhill personally.
I can agree with that.
But
I mean, I think a huge part of that was casting changes and everything like that. Like, I mean,
that didn't help. Yeah,
that definitely didn't help. Like having 3 different actors play Grindelwald. Like,
was there 3 different ones?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you're probably right. I don't remember though. I know Johnny Depp was original, right? And then I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that's.
I mean, regardless,
Yeah.
they kept changing a lot of that. And like I appreciated them expanding the lore and the world a little bit, getting to see again like almost an American sort of take on it, as opposed to like, or what it looks like in the United States versus in England. And then also, I mean, yeah, some of the, what was the teenage boy who could like morph himself?
Oh, yeah.
What was he again?
So I can't answer that question, but I can say that 3 actors did play
3 did?
Grindelwald.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell, Johnny Depp, and Mads Mikkelsen.
That's right. Yeah, Mads was the third one in the third movie.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even realize it was 3 different.
Yep.
Wow.
See, that's again a huge part of it. Like this big villain, we're gonna have 3 different people play him. Like so, and like you can write it off as it's a magical world. They change disguises and stuff like that, but there's not as much connection because every actor had a different take on the character. Like I mean, granted, Johnny Depp was only him for 3 minutes of screen time or something like that, but
not a long time.
Yeah, regardless.
I know. Yeah, back to the question you were saying. Like, I don't remember the kid's name again either, but it was. I mean, they did add him in, and it wasn't a great part of the movie. Like, that wasn't what was enjoyable about it. I did enjoy. Actually, the character of Grindelwald was interesting. Was something, you know what I mean? Like watching that develop, but then adding that additional character. I don't know that it added enough to the movie, and in fact, probably hurt it because I don't know. It
became like a side plot, and there's no real explaining it, and it just became too much, as opposed to, again, like Grindelwald could have been the focus, and I think we would have been fine.
Jude Law, though, as Dumbledore,
He was a good Dumbledore. Yeah.
Jude Law is incredible, and I like him in most things, I would say.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I'll give my quick answers to the question. I think I half processed this externally with Dayna last night, but because I think I've seen part of the first Fantastic Beasts, and I think I've seen the third one, but I was watching it on a plane, and because I hadn't watched the first 2, I was pretty lost. But I was thinking to myself, like, okay, so you have this expanded, universe, expanded part of the Harry Potter world. I love Harry Potter so much, so like, why do I not feel like more drawn to this or like a greater desire? And I kind of realized that what I love most about Harry Potter is the 3 central characters. So Harry, Ron, Hermione. And I think those characters more than the world itself is kind of what draws me in. So kind of like what you were saying, Nick, like I just don't know that I care, really. Like it's cool that there's this expanded universe, but because I'm really only drawn into it because of those characters, if the 3 core characters aren't in it, I don't know that I really even care that much. So at some point, I would love to watch those movies just for the sake of it, because I think it'd be good.
Let me ask you this question then. So how did you feel? I assume you read Cursed Child then? Did you? No. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I've not read it.
Cursed Child?
Nope.
No?
But
Okay.
if you guys want to babysit our baby this fall, we hear
It is coming
is
to
coming to
Columbus.
Columbus,
Yeah, it's coming to Columbus. Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Man,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go see that. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious. I didn't know because it sounds like you wouldn't really get into the other the expanded parts of the universe.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're not a video game person, anyways, but it doesn't sound like you would play like a Hogwarts Legacy because it's not in that realm. It's not focusing on those characters and those stories for sure.
Yeah.
I will say, especially books, like the friendship of the core three is what makes part of the stories so special. Is having two people that close to lean on, like the way Harry does to Ron and Hermione. It's just special. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, why don't we kind of jump into the group discussion here?
Let's do this right now. Let's why don't we take a quick break real fast, and then we'll get into that group discussion here in a few moments. What do you think?
Sounds good. All right, we are back from our break, and we're going to jump into the group discussion here. So why don't I kick us off with just some questions we have for our guest, Dayna. First and foremost, if you could have one character over for dinner, who would it be, and what would you serve them?
I would have Luna Lovegood over for dinner. She is so fun and sweet, and I think we would be best friends.
That's a good answer.
Especially because you have her glasses.
I do. I was for her for Halloween. Yeah. I think that I would bake her some bread and maybe do like a bread and dips kind of, dip dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
What about the
You
rest
guys
of you
are
guys? You got a
Oh,
character in mind? See, we're gonna put everybody on the hot seat here. That way, it's not just Dayna.
I
You
would,
can spread the love.
Yeah.
I would have over Peter Pettigrew, and I would feed him some cheese.
Got to be a joke answer. Thank you, Michael.
Oh man. My favorite. I feel like my favorite character in the series, outside of like the core three, for sure was Sirius. Like I always loved him as a character.
100%.
What would I serve? I don't know. I feel like he seems to be like the type of guy that would enjoy like a nice steak, maybe some bourbon. I feel like we'd get along well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
The finer things, yes.
The finer.
Honestly, and I forget what this is called when a wizard can turn into an animal, but with him being
Animagus.
Animagus, yeah.
What?
Steak would be perfect because I
Yes.
feel like as a dog, dogs love steak.
True.
So,
It's true.
yeah.
I
What
would
about
have
you,
said
Ben?
I would have said Sirius Black or even Lupin. Let's hear more about
Yeah,
what life
Lupin would be
what life as
interesting.
a werewolf is like.
I did love Lupin too.
Yeah.
He is another one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
And again, like one of the best teachers, hand down. I mean, especially of the Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers.
Nobody said Gilderoy Lockhart.
No, I don't need to hear him go on about himself for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
That's
Okay,
man.
basic question, Dayna. What house are you in? And how do you feel about have you been officially sorted or you just kind of pick a house? Which either is valid.
I do think I took a quiz at some point, but I've also been told by many people. I would love to hear what you guys would guess I am. It's probably pretty easy.
I don't know. What I would get. See, I feel like it's cheating if I was to like go to Michael to ask. He
Yeah,
probably
I already
knows,
know the answer, so I can't
okay.
participate.
Oh man, what would
My
Ben, what
initial
do you-
guess would be Ravenclaw or
I was?
Hufflepuff.
I was thinking Ravenclaw, but I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been told I'm a Hufflepuff
Okay.
through and through. Yeah.
Again, cozy things. You like to bake. You like
I
gardening.
do.
Like again,
Yes.
very quintessential Hufflepuff. I too am a Hufflepuff, so I can say that.
Wearing a shirt and everything.
Yeah,
Nice.
for our YouTube watchers.
Oh, we don't need to point it out. Anyways, Nick, what are you?
Yeah, I am Ravenclaw.
Okay, that tracks.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Sorted into that one.
So Michael.
When I took the quiz, I was Gryffindor.
Okay, I could 100% see that. 100%.
Yeah, nice. Good question.
Man. So this one's kind of, I feel like it's a loaded question, but like, would you actually ever want to live in a magical world like that? Or does it just seem like it's just a to life or death that it would just,
Right.
I wouldn't want to live
stressful.
there. Yeah, it'd be too stressful.
Yeah. It really depends on what is currently plaguing the wizarding world. I mean, are we
Post
post
Voldemort?
Voldemort?
Yeah.
Because it seems incredible if there's no threat of just impending doom at all times.
Well, really only though at the end of the school year. During the school year, he kind of
It's
stays.
looming though.
Yeah.
It's building.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I think that if, I could just hang out with the Weasleys and live my life without fear of evil wizards, I would gladly live in the wizarding world.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I wouldn't want to. I don't think I'd want to live in a world where Voldemort exists. But
No.
unfortunately, I feel like evil always exists. Anyways, that's the sad
Yeah,
part.
we have
so-
our Voldemorts.
That's
I
right. We
suppose.
do. In society.
Or Voldemort. That's funny. Well, okay, so let's say yes, you're in the wizarding world. You're a wizard yourself. What would your go-to spell be?
Yeah. If I'm not being threatened by evil, I would say that some kind of housekeeping spell would be incredible.
Yeah.
Like doing the dishes,
Molly Weasley's
sorting
magic.
the Tupperware
Yes.
Yeah.
cabinet, yeah, laundry,
There you go.
weeding the garden.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
be great.
I mean, I gotta agree. As an adult now, that would be probably the most
It's not super
responsible
exciting.
form of magic. There, yeah, for sure.
I mean, Accio would also super come in handy. It goes back to being a Jedi too. Like, just the ability
Yeah.
to summon things without like needing to actually go get it. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
What would your favorite class to attend be at Hogwarts?
Yeah,
Ooh, that's a good one.
yeah. I would love to take herbology.
it. I was going to say
Okay.
that earlier. Yep,
Yeah,
I knew
Again,
it.
thanks for knowing
classic
me,
Hufflepuff.
husband. Yeah, I love gardening, and I think it would be so fun to learn all the special like plants in the wizarding world.
Mhm.
So yeah, that would definitely be it for me.
Great. Yeah. So, I mean, okay, of the books, do you have a favorite professor that stuck out to you then?
I love Professor McGonagall.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
'cause she's the best.
She
Objectively,
100% is, yeah.
yeah. So
The
I would
scene
love
where
to learn
she
from her.
summons the stone guards, it's in the very last movie,
Yeah.
is like, I will have the soundtrack to that in that scene down. It just gives me goosebumps. It's really intense.
I just love Have a Biscuit Potter.
that is a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you feel like we kind of talked about characters a lot here. Do you feel like there's a character that's underrated in the series? I think for me, I'm going Dobby.
Really? Okay.
I feel like he's underrated.
Okay.
No? You guys feel like he's not underrated?
I
So
love
I don't-
Dobby.
Yeah, I don't know that he's underrated in the sense. I would say he's not underrated in the sense that he is given such a large part to play, especially when from Malfoy Manor, especially when he rescues the gang from Malfoy Manor, and he's very central to that whole
At
plot
that
point.
But like
At
he's
that
been
point, yeah.
gone for most, like he kind of like comes back into the story.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? Like he hasn't really done a lot in the previous. I don't think he was in 5 a lot for sure, but he was kind of there a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously he was a main. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to think of kind of where, because he started. Is it Chamber of Secrets? That's where he
That's
kind
where
of.
he
So he's
shows
trying to
up,
stop
yeah.
Harry from going, and then after that, I guess I don't really even know because we're watching the 3rd movie right now, and he's not even.
He's not in it.
Mentioned. He's not even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in the movie. I can't remember.
He's
Maybe in the
in-
book though.
He is in Goblet of Fire in the book. I think I don't know how much he's in the movie, but Goblet
Okay.
of Fire. I think he's a part. Like, as he works in the. Doesn't he work in the kitchen?
Is that
with
when
you?
they start to really show the kitchens? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So that's why I guess I would say he's underrated. Is that like he does show up, and then there's this really powerful moment in book 7 when he dies. Spoilers again. Here we go. But no, like it hits. I mean,
Oh,
it hits
gosh.
super hard. That's
One of the first times that a book has made me cry.
Yeah,
for
I mean
sure.
that is
Yeah.
super emotional in that moment. Like that is the. Actually, that kind of hits on one of my other questions. The most emotional moment in the entire series, at least to me. Like,
Yeah, me too. Actually. Yeah.
Well,
Heartbreaking.
did you have an underrated
Yeah.
character? Because I was gonna answer the emotional question.
Yeah, I don't know if I have an underrated character, but as a Hufflepuff, I feel a little bit slighted because I know we have Cedric and everything, but he's, really short-lived, obviously, character. So I'd love at least like one more, one more good Hufflepuff because we're great.
who else are the Hufflepuffs in the?
I don't know.
Is that all? Like there's.
They mentioned a couple. Well, none of them immediately come to mind, and that says a lot. Yeah,
Is that
for
really?
sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Newt Scamander was a Hufflepuff.
Okay.
That I know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, not in the core books.
I guess I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah. Well, what about emotional moments? So Ben, what's an emotional moment for you? Obviously,
Besides Dobby, and then obviously losing Hedwig too. That one.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah.
hurts a lot. Especially because like she was one of Harry's first friends and companions. And even at home, like she was a reminder of school and of that magical world that Harry's a part of. But again, like she had to be kept in her cage so much. And so again, like I love animals too. So like just again, a very emotional attachment to Hedwig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So mine is actually a happy emotional, not a
Okay.
sad
Yeah,
emotional.
nothing wrong with that.
But I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, the very end scene of Chamber of Secrets, which in the book they kind of just gloss over it, or she kind of glosses over it, J.K. Rowling. But in the movie, the scene is really fleshed out. But it's where Hagrid returns from Azkaban, and you know his letter gets lost because he's using Ron's owl, who's just like a nitwit.
Errol.
Yeah, Errol. And
I'd forgotten all about that. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that's so. You're saying it was more present in the movie. You feel like
it was
than in the
way
book?
more fleshed out in the movie. So he returns. You know, he comes into the Great Hall when they're having their feast.
And everyone applauds him.
Yeah, everyone applauds him, and then he goes up to Harry, and Harry gives him that big hug, and then they all crowd around.
Man, I
and
don't even remember this.
It is
Wow.
extremely emotional. And I have a Harry Potter YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They put out thousands of clips. You know, they'll just clip the movies and put out like clips and stuff. I have that clip saved in my watch later because it's just I love it so much.
Come back
Whenever
to
you
it.
need a good
Yeah.
cry. Yeah.
But the song that's playing behind it is Wondrous World, or I think it's Wondrous World of Harry Potter, and it's John Williams, obviously.
I was going to say, we can't go throughout this whole episode without mentioning John Williams again, but yes.
Yeah, and the score is it's super impactful, and it makes me cry every time. So happy emotional.
for sure.
I would say I have a similar reaction at the end of the first one. Just like, again, like Harry, wrapping up his whole first year, book-wise too, of just like a good button of, I experienced this whole thing, and summer's going to suck, but I get to come back to this sort of like, and like, my friends are here, my family's here, and he has hope again, which is something he didn't really ever have as a kid. So,
right, exactly.
Well, this is probably a good segue question here, because we're kind of, I think we're going close to the end. Let's kind of turn it into this idea of what do you think? Like, if you had to make predictions about what the fandom is going to look like in the next 10 to 20 years and how it's going to develop, what kind of predictions would you have for the future?
Yeah, I think that it's going to keep captivating people. It feels timeless to me. Like we have, just some good friends in our church who their kids are like 10, 11, and they're reading Harry Potter for the first time. And that's so sweet and special. And I love seeing that, that new like generations are continuing to enjoy Harry Potter. So I think that's probably going to keep happening.
Has it reached classic status then? Like, is this going to be like the novels
That's a
that
good
we're going to
question.
read
If it
50 years from now? Like,
I hope it does.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say it's timeless because I feel like that goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier about, the characters themselves, like the characters and their dynamics and the way, the trials they go through, the way they develop, like that is any generation I think can resonate with that. And I feel like, that's going to be what carries it forward. It's not really like a trendy, type of story. It's a very, very timeless story about these, this found family that comes together. And so I agree with you on that. I think it is going to like continue on.
And I think that it helps too that just thinking about this, like it kind of lives outside of technology because like, you're a wizard. You don't need a lot of the stuff that we have technology for, short of, maybe electricity or, some basic stuff like that. But like, again, like, because it doesn't revolve around like that, the current time necessary, it can kind of, it kind of fits itself into whatever time the current generation is in.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember reading through the books the first time and feel like I thought that they were written for like the time that we were in right then, and then only come to find out like much later that Harry really, by the time the series was over in what was it, 2011, like he would have been like 40 something because the books actually took place in the 90s, right? Like I don't even know when did the battle. There's an official date for the Battle of Hogwarts, and I think it's in the 90s somewhere.
Really? Okay.
I think so. I believe it is.
I think that's right too. Because I want to say his first year was like 88, 89 or something.
Yeah.
Like it was like he started at Hogwarts in like the late 80s maybe. But so again, it was kind of predating even when the books were coming out. But
You don't even realize. I don't know how. I don't know. Was that like? Did that come up? Like, did J.K. Rowling say that, or was it actually just something that people did math? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
it could have been one of her posts.
Yeah,
post writing it, like adding to the lore sort of things.
maybe.
But
Yeah, for sure. What about the rest of you guys? I mean, like, do you have any predictions about what's to come with the fandom and where it's going to be 10, 20 years from now?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a new generation. I mean, I think millennials are just like kind of made fun of for being so into Harry Potter, like maybe excluding you, Dayna, maybe more like me, Nick, and Ben, our generation, like the millennial generation. I think we're made fun of for like loving Harry Potter and like, being in a house and like that's like almost part of our identity as millennials. But with that being said, like our kids, like I would love for them, once they get a little bit older to read it. And like Dayna said, we've got people in our church, and my sister, like, her kids are beginning to be exposed to it and they love it so much. So I think our love of it as millennials is going to get passed down. We're going to kind of force it, on our kids.
Absolutely.
And
That's the way it goes.
I mean, so with your kids, Nick, like, do you want them to be invested in this?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I read it with my dad. I hope to read it with my kids one day. I want that to be a thing, and especially with the illustrated copies. Like, I really look forward to that day when that can actually happen for sure. So I will definitely be participating in trying to pass down the fandom a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, I would agree that I'm optimistic, first of all, about the show. I think that they've got some good people on it. HBO has a good track record of shows in general. And along with that, like, I mean, they're going to be able to expand on a lot more than just the books or like the movies were able to. Not the books, but they'll be able to relate closer to the books than the movies could because they have more time.
For sure.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, because like they'll get an average of 10 hours per book instead of the 1.5 to 2.5. Like, so yeah. Along with that, I mean, obviously it's stuck around for so long, considering like you look at Harry Potter world and down at Universal, like that's grown so much, and it's been 10, 15 years since the last movie. Like it's grown a lot, and so it's still stuck around. And so I
actually
think
forgot to ask: has everybody here been to Harry Potter World?
No,
oh, you
never.
haven't been? No.
No.
Oh wow!
I know.
Gotta make a pilgrimage at some point.
Yeah.
Group trip.
Yes, group trip. All
Maybe
right, that's the
that'll
next
be-
Fandom of Fandoms.
Yeah, like a Fandom of Fandoms, like group tour. You
Yeah.
can
Yeah, we
invite
could
all
actually-
of your fans.
We
I
could
wanna go
charge the
back.
whole thing to our
I was
Fandom
saying
of
it's
Fandoms
totally
bank account.
affordable. Yes. And who's bankrolling this, Michael?
Oh man.
Well, the
You're in charge of getting a
listeners-
sponsor. So.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
shoot. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Excuse me.
That-
We need someone to fund our trip.
Yeah.
That's you.
Wow, yeah, you
Joe.
guys definitely. It is magical. I'll tell you. I
Yeah.
remember the first time that I actually set foot in it, and I'm like, this is why. Like, this is so
Especially
cool.
Diagon Alley is so
Yeah.
cool. Like,
And I'm sure I know they've added on to it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I haven't been down there in a long time. So I went shortly after the one opened, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Florida, and saw it, the very first. And then when they eventually opened it up in California, I think I was over there and got to see like a soft opening of it. But I know they've continued to add on to it. So I want to make my way back for sure.
Well, yeah, and they just opened
Yeah.
up like the Ministry of Magic area and stuff
Oh,
like
really?
that down at Epic
That's
Universe
cool.
and Universal. Yeah.
Oh man, I need to go.
Yep.
All right, it's settled. We're going.
Yep, that's next.
All right.
All right, guys. Well,
What about what's next for us?
yeah, Nick, what's next on the podcast?
Well, this is exciting for me, at least. I know that it's not for you guys. I'm probably not going to be as excited about this, but we're going to be talking about the Ohio State Buckeyes. And yeah, there we go. Thanks, Michael. We got another guest, Bailey, and he's going to come and join us, and he's going to be talking to us about, I think, really just all things Buckeye, really. Well, the reason I say that Ben's not really into Ben's always been a Cincinnati guy. He's from Cincinnati, and Michael, I just don't think he cares about football,
Sports, yeah.
sportsy things in general
Yeah.
for the most part. But
I'm excited to learn though, and I
Yeah.
love Bailey too. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
gonna be
excited
fun.
for us to just venture out into a less quote unquote nerdy thing.
Yeah.
And yeah. So for all of you listeners out there, we're not just nerds. We're
true.
also
we like sports.
well, we're nerds. We're Renaissance men.
Yes, exactly. No, that is true. It's definitely a step outside of what we've been doing so far, and that's the entire point of the show, really, right? Like we don't just want to stick into one thing that we're most familiar or comfortable with. Like I hope when we're bringing people in, we're bringing in people that are able to expose us to some new things for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
that brings us to a close. Dayna, thank you again
Yes.
so
Thank you,
much for
Dayna,
joining
so
us.
much.
Thank
You
you,
were-
guys.
A wonderful first guest. You did such a great job.
I
so
appreciate
thank you.
it. You guys are
Yes.
so fun. It's been great.
That's a wrap on this episode of Fandom of Fandoms. If you loved it, hit that follow button at FOF.pod on Instagram and Threads, and leave us a quick review wherever you're listening to this podcast. It's like fuel for our little nerdy spaceship. Got a fandom you want us to tackle? Shoot us a DM. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep repping what you love.